glad you guys are doing well. I'm doing okay. I am halfway through my 20s and I am done with this shit. Oh my God, I'm sick of my 20s. I'm so sick of people telling me to enjoy them. They're not fun. They are 10 years of asking yourself, will I outgrow this or is it a problem? Like, is this a phase or a demon? I just need to know. Like, am I fun or should I go to a meeting? Someone help me. And people get upset when I complain about being young. I had a woman come up to me after a show furious. She's like, you should really appreciate this time of your life because someday you're gonna have a family like me and you're really gonna miss it. I'm like, where are your kids buried? Holy shit. I'm just trying to get to my car, ghost of Christmas future. And if you're sitting there going, Taylor, you should be grateful. I miss my 20s. No, you don't. What you miss is a time in your life where you didn't have a lot of responsibilities because nobody expected anything from you. But do you remember why nobody expected anything from you? Because you sucked. That's what everybody forgets about your 20s. You were garbage. Thinner garbage, but you were garbage. You have no intuition, no instincts, you can't make decisions, only mistakes. That's why you're thin in your 20s. You don't have a gut to listen to yet. There's no mystic bad feeling under your ribs going, hey, maybe don't date a DJ again. Nobody expects me to do shit right. I'm like, what can I bring to the potluck, Nana? She's like, napkins, can you handle that? Dry ones this time. And if they say Starbucks on them, I swear to God, Taylor, go to a Dollar Tree, stop ruining Easter. But I've been doing a lot of work on myself. You have to work on yourself in your 20s, because if you don't, then you'll turn 30 and all the shitty parts of your personality will solidify, and that'll just be who you are now. Your 20s are an opportunity to fish trash out of the lake before it freezes over. It's like, ooh, what's that, codependency? Daddy issues? All right, better get all that out of there, because winter is coming.
I'm loving my life right now. I love it. You know, I'm always having fun. I've always been a fun person. But you know what I noticed lately who haven't been having fun? The fucking 20-year-olds. Yeah, 20-year-olds, y'all suck. Y'all are the worst 20-year-olds in the history of our 20-year-olds, ever. Let me tell y'all something. Look, the nation depends on 20-year-olds. Like, if we're going through some bad stuff, which we always do, the nation always go through some bad stuff. If we can still look at the 20-year-olds, and 20-year-olds is just like, then we like, oh, okay, we all right. But you look at the 20-year-olds now, and the 20-year-olds now be like, I am so offended. You be like, what are you offended about? You literally only been through high school. What's wrong, boo? You didn't catch Pikachu? Did Pikachu get away from you? You better enjoy your damn 20s. Y'all out here marching. That's hilarious. Ain't nobody listening to a 20-year-old. I never marched in my 20s. The only marching I did in my 20s was to the liquor store. Yeah, Bacardi. Tequila, tequila, tequila. Do you think I knew who the president was in my fucking 20s? Hell no! Every 20-year-old's night should end with glitter and cocaine. You know what I'm saying? Not even in that order, you know what I'm saying? Because ain't nothing like some glitter after some cocaine. Woo, smarter! Any 20-year-olds in the house? Any 20-year-olds? 20-year-olds? Woo! Listless bastards. Ain't got no frickin' energy. Where your energy at? You in your 20s? You in your 20s. You in your 20s. You in your 20s. You in your fucking 20s. With that little house on the prairie sweater on. Are you serious, bitch? You're in your fucking 20s? You're in your 20s! Oh, I'm so mad at you right now. Oh, I'm so fucking mad. What time is it? You're supposed to be naked. Oh my God, I didn't even own one of those sweaters until I was like 37. Oh, I'm so mad at you. I bet you got drawers on too, don't you? You got drawers on? Why? What you need drawers on? 20-year-old pussy don't need no drawers. It don't need a container. 20-year-old pussy contains itself. I am 52 years old. My pussy is not containing itself. My pussy is like lava. You understand me? I need a damn geologist or some Spanx in this motherfucker. Do you understand? Do you understand? Because let me explain something to you. The 20-year-old men have fun. 20-year-old men have fun, and they like 20-year-old men use their 20s up. They got so much testosterone. They like salamanders. You rip their dick off, another one will grow right back out. Just. They will fuck you, your friend, go home, get on Tinder, then fuck a sock.
The beginning of a relationship is exciting because it's brand new. You're both on your best behavior. It's still electric. You're not totally sure about the history of mental illness in each other's families. Like, it's fun. And the most nerve-wracking part of a new relationship when you're younger is the first time a boy comes over to your apartment. Because it's ostensibly like your girlfriend audition time. Like, you want him to come in and be like, oh, it's so homey, I'd like to stay forever. And you're like, yes, come closer. Like, that's what you want. You try so hard in your 20s, right? Because you're young and it's fun. That's your 20s. In your 30s, you don't try. Your 30s, homeboy knocks on the door, you open it, you're standing there in combat boots, nothing else, and a garbage can on fire. You're like, welcome to Fuck Dome, Scott. Ticket? Okay, so. But it's interesting because in your 20s, it's a weird mental game. Boys coming over for the first time, you're trying to reconcile the beautiful home that your mother kept that you lived in growing up with the beautiful home that, like, Pinterest says you're supposed to have, and the fact that you have no fucking money. So you're like, should I buy a rug or eat dinner? I don't know. Like, it's so hard. Boys coming over, you are cleaning like you've never cleaned before. And it's hard because women secretly are filthy. No one wants to laugh about it. They're like, oh, not me. And no guy wants to imagine, like, no way, my girlfriend's so hot. Yeah? Yeah? You think you got a hot girlfriend? Check the center console of her car. She's owned that car for a decade. It's just every year the shit just piles up. You open that, you're like, I didn't know an Acura came with a time capsule. You just shut it. You open it again, you just hear, help! Like there's just something in there. It's our little filthy secret stockpile, right? It's a now that's what I call music CD in case they come back. Yeah, it's one of those cables that plugs from the tape player into the CD player. It's a spilled nail polish. It's like a little bit of weed dust. It's a Calgon body spray because you'd rather smell like a stripper than weed, right? It's a Lip Smackers Dr. Pepper flavor that's just lying there with a gash in the wax neck, like, tell my children I died well. Like, it's an iPhone 4 charger. It's some McDonald's napkins. It's a French fry. Times that center console by 1,000,000 in her apartment. You are just cleaning with Swiffer and Brawny. It's like a winter wonderland of paper towels. You're just shoving shit under the rugs because you didn't build a shelf. I don't know how that fucking works. You're just moving everything. You put your coats in the oven, burn them. I live in LA. Fuck it. Take everything. You take your cat, You put your cat in the hamper, just for now, Marbles. We don't know how he feels about cats. Taking everything, you're cleaning, you discovering new rooms in your apartment. You're like, how come the water heater gets its own closet? Fuck it! You beg your roommate, you beg your gross out roommate. You're like, please just stay in your room. You're so fucking disgusting. She's sitting there on a throne of Wendy's wrappers like, okay, all right. But you text me dick pics, hello. You shut the door, she's cleaning it, lighting Glade candles like it's a fucking Catholic mass. It's like, smells like ham in here. You're just trying to make it nice. He opens the door. You're like, hi. He walks in, he's like, oh, place is cool. You're like, fuck you.